First day in Tokyo, Sunday morning. Not really a lot of people around. We're on our way to the Pokemon Center in central Tokyo. So we've arrived at the Pokemon Center in central Tokyo. It's one of several Pokemon stores around Japan. As you can see, it's full of Pokemon paraphernalia. Quite a haven for Pokemon fans, young and old. Pokemon heaven in here. Probably more Pokemon than you ever knew existed. As we came out of the Pokemon Center, we noticed this little restaurant, which seems to be quite a hit with the locals. You can see the traditional architecture. So it looks that it sells more traditional type of food, which seems to be a hit with the lunchtime crowd. So next we decided to take a cruise on the Sumida River in Tokyo. It was a short cruise, about half an hour, but it just gave us a little view of Tokyo from the river. And one thing you notice about the rivers in Japan is they're all very straight, very well banked. Very tame. It doesn't meander at all, but it was a pleasant little cruise. Only drawback was, of course, the guide only spoke Japanese, so couldn't understand, but pleasant nonetheless.
本日4時頃まで海の潮が上げてきておりますので、川の上流ここら辺まで干渉してこうやってせき止められたような形になっております。
We're in the district of Asakusa right now, and this is Kaminakiron Gate, near one of the most famous shrines in Tokyo, the Sensoji Temple. So right now it's about 1:30, 2 o'clock. You can see it's quite crowded. We get here a little earlier, then it's less crowded. So the temple is a little bit further down, but what you see here is there's a little bit of a shopping arcade on the way to the temple. It's very commercialized. It attracts a lot of tourists. So you got souvenir shops that sell kimonos and fans, those handheld fans, and food like the mochi and green tea and so on. So now we're approaching the temple, and you'll see a little bit about what happens there. It's just a regular Buddhist temple where people come to offer their prayers and offerings and seek blessings from their deities. So really quite interesting. We'll get to see a little bit of that in a minute.
あ、すみません。There's the good luck to you.
So we found this halal Wagyu place for dinner, and I've got to say, Wagyu is the best thing I've ever tasted. And this isn't just any Wagyu that we get here in Australia or anywhere else. It's A5 grade Wagyu, which is unbelievable. It literally melts in your mouth. And if you haven't tried it, you must try it. So we've arrived in a place called Akihabara after dinner. This is where you find a lot of the lights in Tokyo, you know, all the buildings lit up. You can see it's quite lively. A lot of things that you can buy here, electronics and those sorts of things. Let's go have a look. Tell me to stop filming, I'll stop. Now, Akihabara is also a fantastic destination for cosplay enthusiasts. You'll see quite a number of people here dressed up as their famous anime characters. Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, whatever. You'll see them all here. And Akihabara is not just about shopping. You can also enjoy themed cafes and all cosplay related activities. There's cosplay people here. That one, that's it. Yeah.
それ買ったから一つAnd then Costco was like,
Are you going there?
都压平嘛，看压平。
我先把东西买了，买了我要走了。
So next day we decided to take a little walk to the Meiji Park, where there's a shrine to the Emperor Meiji. It's another quite popular tourist attraction in Tokyo. Now we're just taking a little walk through the the suburbs of Tokyo. Not very far from our hotel, not very far from Shinjuku. We're still in the Shinjuku area. So it's about a 20-minute walk, which is quite leisurely. You can see the streets here, they all sort of look like alleys. They're actually main streets. They're all one lane, single lane, so something quite unique. Very tidy. Tokyo, for its population of 37 million people, is very clean. That's one thing the Japanese are very staunch about, very proud of, is cleanliness. And they really take care of their environment and their surroundings. So let's enjoy the walk. So we're just approaching Meiji Shrine now, and it's signified by that gate. Now those are called Toshi gates, which is symbolic of the Shinto religion. The Meiji grounds itself is home to both Shinto and Buddhism. So the difference between Shintoism and Buddhism is Buddhism, it's a It's a southeastern Asian religion. Started off in Nepal, I believe, but the Shinto religion is native to Japan. They don't really have gods; they worship spirits. Really quite unique. Now we were lucky enough to arrive at the shrine at a time where a ceremony was taking place. So this was a commemoration to the Emperor Meiji. Now the Emperor Meiji was the one that deposed the shogunate. So about 400 years of shogunate rule, and deposed the shogunate and resumed power for himself. And when he did, he embarked on a campaign to modernize Japan. And there's some tenets that he puts in place that are still followed today. And this is why Japan is where it is today in terms of modernization, leading in technology, and so on. So they have come a long way in the last couple of centuries since the Emperor Meiji. The Emperor Meiji, I think he resumed power in the 1860s, somewhere around there. So yeah, it's not even a few centuries. It's only a matter of less than 2 centuries that he's been able to modernize Japan to the point that it's at today. So we're going to see a ceremony in a moment, and we'll tell you more when it starts. They're getting ready for some service.
But there's a huge
That's to go inside, I think.
换代期。
Stay to see what's going on with it.
Huh?
I'm going to stay to see what. I'll have a little rest. So the ceremony is just about to begin. Now those people dressed in white kimonos you see coming down the stairs, those are actually Shinto priests, and they'll be taking part in the ceremony as well. Now you see a group of people coming down the stairs on the right-hand side. Those are actually retired sumo wrestlers. So they're held in very high regard. You know, sumo wrestlers have a place in their society, place in their culture. They're treated like heroes, actually. So they're given place of presence in ceremonies like this and given high honor and high esteem. So they'll be taking part in this, actually observing this ceremony as VIP guests. So let's wait for the ceremony to begin.
お帽子の方につきましては、ご脱法をいただきまして、お払いをお受けいただきます。それではお払いをいたします。どうぞお受け願います。お直りの上、ご着席願います。
It's in the order of rank.
That's why
So now we see the ceremonial procession coming in. A couple of Shinto priests leading, followed by current sumo wrestlers. Now the sumo wrestler in the middle, with the white skirt thing around his waist, he's actually the champion, the current champion, the highest ranked sumo wrestler in the country. The interesting thing is he's not even Japanese, he's Mongolian. Go figure, eh? So let's watch the ceremony. So that concludes the ceremony. The procession is exiting the shrine area. Very short and very poignant.
Referee? Oh,
これをもちまして明治神宮例大奉祝日本相撲協会によります横綱デスイリフォーのを終了いたします。
So after visiting the shrine, we came to this place called Takeshita Street, another well-known tourist attraction in Tokyo. Another one of those single lane alley type of streets. It's a place where a lot of young people like to hang out. There's a lot happening. There's a buzz, and so teenagers, young adults, they like to hang around here. But also very popular with tourists of all ages.
because it's the same thing.
We've arrived in Shibuya, and this is a statue of the legendary dog Hachiko. The story around him is that in 1925, after his owner passed away, He waited every day at the station for over 9 years until his own death, so the Japanese revere him as a symbol of loyalty. Now we've just come into the Nintendo store in Shibuya. Another very busy store, very well-trafficked, popular among tourists and locals alike for the Nintendo paraphernalia, mostly clothes, some souvenirs, etc. This is the world-famous Shibuya crossing, the most busy intersection in the world. It's not so busy right now, but it does get busier. This is around, probably, I think it's around lunchtime that we went there. And yeah, there's still a bit of a crowd, but it gets much, much busier than this. That's it, yeah. Now we're in the famous Nishiki food market in Kyoto. Lots of finger foods to be had. Lots of exotic, strange, otherwise untested food. It's quite delicious though. The only problem is trying to find halal. So something I always wanted to try was grilled eel. It was actually quite nice. It has a strong fishy taste, but the glaze makes it a little bit better to eat. Very soft texture, very soft flesh, but very nice nonetheless. You can see here all types of skewers and whatnot. They're big on seafood. They like their prawns, they like their fish, all that sort of thing. Raw fish, sushi, of course, they just love it. But there's a lot of other things to like about Japanese food as well, namely Wagyu. So this is one of the laneways in Kyoto near our hotel. We're just going out to dinner, and it's so safe. Although it's night, nobody's going to accost you. Nobody's going to get in your way. Nobody's ever rude to you. So this is a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant, one of those that I was talking about. Very small dining area. There's only about 5 tables in here, and that's the way they all are. So this is fried chicken ramen that we had, spicy ramen. That's the fried chicken. So delicious. I mean, Japanese food, you can't go wrong. After dinner, we went for a walk in the Gion district of Kyoto. You see all the traditional buildings here, all the traditional houses. Now, it's a live area, so there's people living here, people working here, and so on. This is the area where you often find geishas, although they're very rare to sight. Now, it's a profession for them. They're not courtesans. They're actually entertainers. So they sing for their guests. They're hired for simple things like just intelligent conversation and so on. So they're very well respected, held in high esteem as well. The next day we went to Kiyomizudera Temple. It's high up in the mountains in Kyoto. So it's actually a bit of a hike to get here. So the bus drops you off lower down on one of the streets, and then you take one of the laneways up, and you climb up to the temple. And it's lined with shops and shopping and souvenirs and so on as well. So the Japanese have no qualms about commercialism in their places of worship. But it creates a vibe, it attracts a lot of tourists, generates a lot of revenue for them, so that's all good. So these are the grounds of the temple. or the shrine, I should say. It's a Shinto shrine. Actually, no, it is a temple. It's a Buddhist temple, not a Shinto shrine. So you get a good view of Tokyo from up here. Sorry, Kyoto from up here. And Kyoto is, set in a more natural surrounds. It's not a concrete jungle that you experience in Tokyo or even Osaka. So it's very quite unique and a lovely place to visit. It's the highlight of our trip. They have some sort of wudu performing ceremony of their own. This is the Higashiyama district of Kyoto. We have quaint and traditional types of shops and homes. Very charming indeed. Matcha coffee is big here. Matcha tea, sorry. Green tea. You're crazy over this stuff. The Samurai Museum was another highlight of our trip. We got to dress up as samurai in those Yakuta kimonos, and we learned some sword skills of the samurai. Really fun thing to do with Aris. Really enjoyed it. So the next day we went to a place called Arashiyama Bamboo Grove. It's a bamboo forest, and bamboo grows wildly across Japan. And it's one of those things that holds another high place of esteem with the people of Japan. Bamboo is very versatile, very utilized in Japan, in Japanese culture. And in that, just a little short walk away from that bamboo grove, you find this another temple area, and really very picturesque, very beautiful. You know, one thing you notice about Japan is it's very decorative, very. It's almost as if everything is manicured, but it's all very natural. I mean, a garden like this is manicured, it is well tended, but you go to other places and you wonder, it's as natural as it has to be done. You go subhanAllah. It's so beautiful. That I find is unique to Japan. And we took a train ride in something called Sagano Railway. It's a short 30-minute train ride, and it goes along the Sagano River. And it was raining that day, so we made the best of it. It was a really good train ride. We got to see the river, got to see a little bit of the natural fauna, flora and wildlife. Really very nice. So we'll leave the camera running for a while so you can see a little bit of the landscape of rural Japan. 会えた visiting the Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto. Very famous Shinto shrine. Now, one thing to remember is if you're visiting a temple, it's a Buddhist temple. If you're visiting a shrine signified by these torii gates, it's a Shinto shrine. So there's two major religions in Japan, Buddhism and Shintoism, and to some degree Christianity. Just heading up to the Thousand Torii Gates now. So the Fushimi Inari Shrine is dedicated to their god of rice. And you'll see images and statues of foxes around here. The foxes are meant to be their messengers, of that particular god's messenger. So these are the Torii Gates. Thousand of them, or more than 1,000 maybe, up to the top. I think it's about a 3.6 kilometer walk.
One stone missing. Like it's trees.
Tree trunks. So there's one of the messengers of the god. They're not actually god, they're spirits. They believe in spirits, Shintos. So our last day in Kyoto, we're on our way to Osaka now via train. It's only about a 45-minute train ride on the local network. You can see the trains in Japan. The carriages are quite old, but they're very well maintained, and they're very charming. You know, they've got this certain old world charm about them. You can see the seats there, upholstered in a velvet-like material. A very pleasant ride, and you know, adds to the charm of Japan. And I'm taking some footage of our voyage or journey to Osaka. Just wanted to give everyone a feel of the urban landscape and also some of the rural landscape outside of Kyoto. You find some really nice looking neighborhoods. Land is scarce in Japan for houses and so on, so you see that they're all a little bit clustered together. Kyoto isn't so bad, but Osaka and Tokyo, they're very cluttered together. So you can see here some of the neighborhoods, the suburbs of Kyoto. Really quite nice. You can tell you're in another country. Very charming, very exciting to experience a new country and a new culture. Approaching Todaiji Temple in Nara, close to Osaka. And Nara has a lot of free roaming deer, as you can see. Now, Todaiji Temple is a very old temple, and it's the largest wooden temple in all of Japan. So it was built around the time when it was the capital of Japan. Several centuries ago we're talking about. So it's a historic city and quite a beautiful and picturesque city as well.
And you can do a selfie with it.
In the famous Dotonbori area of Osaka. Very busy, as you can see. A bit of a tourist trap. And there's the world famous Lika Running Man. You'll find that Osaka has a different vibe to Tokyo. It's more of a cosmopolitan city, although it's still very Japanese. It's got a lot more shopping, a lot more restaurants. It's more of an entertainment city, really. So a lot to take in. So we had to have Wagyu again. It was just so good. Best thing I've ever eaten. But you'll find that there's a lot of halal food in Osaka and also Tokyo and Kyoto as well. Islam is the fastest growing religion in Japan, so there's a lot more demand for halal food and you'll find plenty. Thank you for watching and I hope you've enjoyed.